Hello guys, welcome in that new video. I'm again with Peter. It's our third video together. And Peter, for those of you who haven't watched the previous video, go and watch them out because they're very interesting. But to sum up, Peter and his team is in charge of product development at Elevate Kitesurfing. And so he's mainly responsible for all the kite, wing, bar and board maybe products that we see at Elevate?
Yeah, we have. I work with a team, and I mainly do the inflatable products and surfboards. I work a bit on the wing board as well, but we work in a group.
All right. So the goal of this video is to make people understand a little bit better how a kite range is built. Because I feel like a lot of people stay focused in, for example, a kite wave is for wave. And if I don't do wave, I don't need that kite. Then I like to jump. So there is a bigger kite, I go into bigger kite. And it's a very, in my opinion, it's a very basic level of understanding.
Yeah, what you mentioned is a bit the categorization. And it's maybe a problem of the brands that they categorize the product, and we as a brand as well, of course, categorize the product. But of course, it has a lot of other performance attributes as well.
Yeah, definitely. So, for example, if we wanted to be more clear, a wave kite, what you do in terms of development for it to become a wave kite, and what compromise do you do? So because it's a good wave kite, it's a bad what kite? You know what I mean?
I would say a bad big air kite.
All right. What's the reason behind that?
Well, in a wave kite, you know, you want to have like a drift, so the kite maybe sits a little bit further back in the window. That means in a loop, for example, when you would jump it, it wouldn't catch you so good because it sits a bit deeper. In a wave kite, you want to have drift and no pull in the turn. You know, you're surfing down the line and you maneuver your kite according to the line you surf on the wave.
Okay.
And in that maneuvering of the kite, you don't want the kite pulling you. But when you go big air, when you want to jump high, you want to have like as much lift as possible, as much pull as possible in the kite. So these are contrary performance goals.
Okay.
And when we develop a kite, we look, okay, what is our target performance goal for this product?
Okay.
And accordingly develop.
So just to come back on that drift terms, I think we hear it a lot, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people doesn't really understand what it means. So for example, if the wind comes directly in my back and I have my wind window, a wave kite, for example, at 10 o'clock, if a normal kite would be here, it would be a little bit more inside the wind window. This is what you're saying?
A little bit deeper. It sits a little bit deeper in the window. And then it drifts without back stalling and without front stalling when you undersurf it, for example. So you want to have a kite that just like hovers back.
So if you slack your line, it reacts better.
Yeah. So when you slack your So when you it has a controlled flight with slack lines.
Okay, perfect. So maybe a beginner kite surfer that is, for example, by accident putting a slack in his line while crashing, a wave kite would react pretty good to that. So that would be a good kite also for someone who is getting into kite surfing, right?
Yes, absolutely. Especially if, let's say, the person is not too heavy. Okay?
All right.
Because the wave kite tends to have like a little bit less lift, a little bit less pull. So if you're, let's say, a person over, 85, 90 kilo, maybe a wave kite in the beginning would not have enough pull. But if you're, let's say, a person with lighter weight, or a girl, with decent kite flying skills, so maybe who flew trainer kites or on the beach before, because a wave kite always a bit faster in the way how it reacts. Then a wave kite can be a good start kite.
Okay, and because it sits a little bit deeper inside the wind window, it doesn't affect the upwind capabilities so much, or?
No, because it doesn't have so much pull. So you can actually, when you go up, and you can edge it, and it doesn't have so much the pull and the drift. It has drift, but it doesn't pull you so much downwind. So you can still edge it and go upwind quite okay.
Okay, very interesting. Again, moving on to another type of product, the one struts.
Yeah.
personally, when I fly this product,
Yeah.
I will be honest, I don't really like it. It's probably because it doesn't fulfill my needs.
Yeah. One strut kite, the goal when we developed our OS kite was to develop a kite good for very light wind.
Okay. Is it because of the weight, by the way? The weight
well, by the
reduction?
weight, but also because of so less struts you have, so less turbulence you get, and so less drag you get.
Okay.
And so more efficient is actually the canopy.
Mm-hmm.
So you have less struts in the lower side of the canopy, you have less vortex, less turbulence, less drag.
Mm-hmm.
And the weight, of course, because you save the bladder material of the struts and also the duck run.
So the price is a little bit less as well, I assume?
Yeah, the prices, but then, you know, the pricing is always a problem with minimum order quantities, you know, how many produce of this product. So actually the factory cost is not different compared to
okay.
The goal for us was to develop a kite for light wind, and then for kite foiling. This when we launched the product. Nowadays, this product in our range has moved a bit on to actually to kite schools who teach in areas where it's very light wind.
Okay.
Okay. So because this the kite has the ability to just stay in the air and flies also like the wave kite with slack lines, and yeah, just performs well in very light breeze of wind.
Okay. So I wouldn't say that our school is situated in a spot where it's very light wind.
Yeah.
But at the end of the season, we have some days around 12, 13, 14 knots. And it definitely feels, for example, a kite's pretty low in the wind window, below 10, is having tendency to backstall, and the one strut doesn't do that. So it's perfect for a student to learn. But like me personally, if it's like 14 knots, I'm having way more fun with a 14 square meter RS than a 14 square meter OS. It's normal.
Yeah, I would agree to that, yes, because the RS simply gives you the more range of performance. It has also good light wind performance, and you can jump it, you can loop it better, and it just provides a bigger window of.
All right. I'm happy that you say that, because sometimes I see people coming because they know they can have some light wind at the end of the season at our spot. They come, they bought specifically a one strut kite, and they are like freestyle riders. They want to jump, they want to do front roll, dark slides, stuff like that. And they knew the wind was light, and they thought, oh, I need a kite specific for light wind. And I feel like the one strut is not always the right option, and they could have more fun. Maybe they will lose like 1 knots of wind window, but they would have so much more fun when they have a little bit more wind, that it's sometimes worth it to go for 3 strut kite, the RS. Oh, you agree on that?
I agree, yeah.
Perfect. And so now the more recent, let's say, type of kites, the bigger kites. I feel what people from the community wants to know, will I jump higher on a bigger kite? So how is it developed? And again, who is the target, and what's your specific choice on a bigger kite?
We always, as a brand, we always analyze, we always watch where the sport is going, you know, how the sport is evolving, what kind of riding styles are attracted to people.
Yeah, definitely.
And now it's bigger, but also even bigger in the last 5 years has changed quite a lot.
Definitely.
So even bigger, like 5 years ago, we saw, you know, big massive jumps, maybe a board off, maybe one kite loop, and this was a big air. Nowadays, big air gets let's say more elements of freestyle, more radical type of kite loops, kite loop combinations. So and this also this basically changes then our product brief. So how we need to develop the product in order to meet these target performance goals. Okay.
So the bigger kite on the Elevate lineup is the XS, right?
Correct.
And
Yes.
so it is a bigger aspect ratio with 5 struts.
Yeah. So
And I've always thought that the 5 struts is because you have a higher aspect ratio, you have a longer kite,
that's
and you
correct.
need more strut to structure the kite. Is
That's
that the
correct.
reason?
Yes, that is basically correct. So you have like more canopy area from span to span of the kite, and so you add more struts for stability.
Mhm.
Okay, for canopy stability.
Okay.
And there's yeah. So and the big air kites, they are normally used in high winds. So
Okay.
when you would use let's say that aspect ratio kite with a 3 strut, you would have more canopy movement, and you can see it when people use it
Yeah,
in the strong wind.
definitely. So why is it better to have less canopy movement in the
Well,
for the everyday rider?
and this is for the everyday rider and the big air rider.
Mhm.
So more you see the kite working,
Yep.
this is all reflecting in inefficiency.
All right.
So every movement of the kite is bad. Okay, and you look at all the kites. Look at also coming back to materials. The question. Look precisely
Mhm.
of how much movement are in the canopies is in those different kites.
I understand.
And from a designer point of view, I always would choose a kite with the least amount of movement.
All right. So, by the way, for you guys, I don't know if it's a good thing or not. You will tell me. But when I have a guy or a girl coming for an advanced lesson and he puts his kite in the air, whatever model, whatever brand, sometimes you have the leading edge that starts floating a little bit. And I've always thought that the kite starts getting a little bit old when you see those movements is the trailing edge. Is that correct? Or
Yeah, the trailing edge basically also, this is you have like a certain tension on the trailing edge, which is very important. But then after a while, the canopy in front of these tension lines is stretching out, bulging out, and then you have like this air pockets, and then the trailing edges are just inefficient and they don't work anymore. This is why low elongation, low stretch in the canopy materials is very important.
it's really important. All right.
To keep the profile clean
Mhm.
and not bulging out and elongating. And in the leading edge material, same thing. You know, you want to have, but also in the design, it's not only the material. It's also how you design the kite. How is the load distribution in the kite? It's very important. And this needs to be all brought down to in harmony of the kite's performance and also in the kite's movement, because every movement of the kite, which is done by a gust, by a wind, if the kite moves, it becomes, you know, you lose that energy.
Yeah.
And you actually want to capture that energy and use it as a rider and not in the movement of the kite.
All right. So the less movement, the more struts, the less movement, the more structure,
The more
and the more you
stability.
use the energy from the wind.
Yeah, yeah. But and then also, of course, the goal as for a designer or for me is to also have a 3-strut kite very stable.
Yeah.
But of course, there are limits. And then when you go to 5-strut for certain models, then the 5-strut has an advantage.
All right. And for example, when you see your top bigger rider at Elevate, when they're rather using sometimes the RS or the RS Plus, because as you say, the sport is moving so fast and now they want to do double, triple loop.
Yeah.
And I think the RS is probably more suitable with that. Is it because the loop is faster with those 3-strut kites?
So basically the strut brings stability in the kite, but also it basically lets the kite twist less as well. So, and when you turn the kite, you need to have the twist. Okay.
So it's a compromise.
It's a compromise. It's
Okay.
always a compromise, and that's why then for, you know, double, contra, or triple loops, a 3-strut kite is better.
It's probably better
In a certain wind range, especially in the, you know, in the lower wind range. Let's say 25 to 30 knots. When it goes higher, then, you know, 40 knots, maybe most of the 5-strut kite is.
Me personally, when I use the XS, I feel like I don't really jump higher, but I stay in the air a lot longer. And this is something, I mean, it's not, it's very obvious. It's very obvious that you stay, the hang time is better. So it is something you're looking for, or you want people to be able to jump higher? Would you say that the XS with the same type of technique, the same guy would jump higher on an XS?
I think you can. I think you can jump. What I would agree with what you said. I think you would reach the same height, but you have a longer float.
Okay.
Okay.
So it will help you going for a board off or something like that.
Exactly. So,
all right.
And also maybe for a heavier guy, it brings some benefits because you have more grunty kites. The XS by nature is more grunty. So you know when you're over this, you know, like 90 kilogram weight range, then maybe the XS gives you some benefits in terms of pure power and grunt.
Let's talk a little bit, if you want, about the freestyle kite, which is the FS. When I first started, I was like, well, I want to do freestyle, so I will buy the FS. And Philippe told me, I think the RS would be more suitable for you. And back then, you know, it was a long time ago. And I was like, yeah, the RS, it's a beginner kite. I don't know about that. And looking back, he was absolutely right. I mean, if you talk about freestyle, like old school freestyle, board off and feeling safe with the kite, it's probably better to have a RS. I don't know if you agree on that. So who the FS is targeted towards?
Well, definitely towards, let's say, wake style, performance freestyle, you know, handle passes, unhooked riding, where the RS is much more broader in its performance window. You know, you can do a little bit unhook as well with the RS, no problem. But you can also go wave riding. You can go jumping, just doing some big air tricks, old school freestyle. So the RS is just covering such a broad spectrum. The FS then excels more in this unhooked freestyle area.
What are those guys are looking for in terms of performance? So, for example, when you're working with Arthur Gilbert, for example, and he wants to do a handle pass competition, a wake style competition, what does he expect from the kite?
Basically, the positioning of the kite and then the slack the kite can provide during after the board pop. That is a very crucial part. How the kite moves, that it doesn't jump forward, that it stays in a certain position in the wind window after the board pop. That is the way how the bar pressure is. That's not too fast, not too slow. How the bar feeling is. So positioning and bar feeling, let's say, are main characteristics.
So it's a type of kite that is more niche and they are developed towards certain needs, right?
Exactly. It's definitely a niche product. But also it has to be said, our FS kite, it's not a direct connected, so we use a bridle on the kite. It does provide some D-power. It's actually fairly comfortable to ride. It's not, you know, when you think about a freestyle kite like in the old days when it was a sea kite. So the FS also provides certain, you know, broader spectrum. And you can see it nowadays also in the freestyle, in the competition. It's not only certain type of trick, they're doing a lot of different types of trick, and in order for the kite to be able to supply this performance character for this new freestyle performance, they need also a kite that provides a broader performance spectrum.
So they could use it in a wide variety of condition or wear.
The tricks are changing in the freestyle. They go blind too and landing blind and you know, backwards, forwards. So they're doing crazy stuff. So and if it's not only so they need a kite that also has a bigger spectrum of performance than it used to be in 10-15 years ago.
So I've made the video this way. I wanted to talk first with you about all the niche product or the specific product. To end with, at which point is it important for a kite brand to have a great crossover product? Does it represent like 90% of your sales is the RS, which is your crossover product, or you try to tell people to go on each niche product? Do you know what I mean? Do you?
Of course, it's very important to have for kite brand to have like the crossover product because this is the main market is there, and you need to have a good one. You need to have a you know that ticks all the boxes of what's needed. But then again, just once back quickly to the niche product, it's also important because we have to cater as a brand for our fantastic sport has so many fantastic niches and with passionate people who really enjoy their way of the sport.
Yeah, you cannot ignore a guy that
cannot ignore it, and we don't want to ignore it because when you look at freestyle now, our sales or every brand sales in freestyle kites is very, very limited. But when you see this level of performance, what these guys are doing, it's fantastic and insane.
It would be a shame to not give them a tool.
Shame not to give this tool. Or being it the wave rider, or being it whatever niche you like to do. So it's important to have a complete lineup for us as a brand in our offering, and having all of these products at the highest performance level. Very important. But then, of course, the crossover kite that basically taps in all of these niches, but then in itself has a performance that, maybe three-dimensionally, let's say, sits over all these niches and covers them, but then itself has like a standing by itself. It's very important. And luckily we have that with the RS. It covers so many boxes in the niche, but also it has an own performance style which is so suitable for 80% of the riders.
Yeah, definitely. And we could see that at the kite school. It's also a simplicity for me because I usually buy an RS for myself. And when I give a kite to try to my students, it's the RS. And it doesn't matter if they're doing their first jump or transition, or if they want to work on their board off, or of doing their first kite loop. I know that I can give the RS. And we have a kite school where the beginner have the same kite that the advanced lesson, and then the instructors, they're all using the same product. So I think it's really good for people who wants to choose a product to know that they cannot go wrong while choosing the crossover kite. Well, I hope this video helped you guys understanding a little bit more what type of development lead to what type of product, and that eventually it helped you doing the right choice on your Elevate product or any type of product. Because what you just said as a designer, probably another designer from another brand have the same type of thinking process to do the product. So
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, more or less. So I hope it helped you and that you had a good time. We've been doing several videos with Peter, one about the urban legend of in kite surfing, one in the material development, and this one, of course, about the lineup and the range of a kite. So go and check the other video if you find this one interesting, and I will see you guys in another video. Peter, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Pourquoi? Je rêvais de te le faire, mais...